Peace and blessings, everyone. One of the key components and one of the things that you and I must come to understand is that the reason that we are working out with weights is to build muscle. And one of the key components that we must understand as well is after the age 30, we are losing lean body mass at a rate of 3 to 5% every decade. And this can become very detrimental to our health goals. Allow us to listen to Dr. Minkoff.
I started playing with amino acids, and we got a formula where the amino acids were like the exact right ratio for the body to utilize, like maximally. So like if you put this stuff in, 99% of it would actually go toward making body protein.
Wow.
Okay.
And that's one of the key components that many of us have to understand as well. When we are training our body, when we are lifting weights, we can actually get into a state of muscle wasting, even though we're lifting weights, because we're not feeding the body the right nutrients that it needs, i.e., the amino acids that it needs in order to build the muscles that we are working and tearing down. The actual process of building the muscle occurs after we actually train. So again, another key component we must come to understand. Let them continue.
Okay. And so what I found after a couple of months is that I put on about 9 pounds of lean body mass. My leg healed. I went to Ironman Canada, which is a very tough race. It's a mountain race. It swims at a very cold lake. And I had my best time ever 3 months after just recovering from a hamstring injury. And I was looking at it and did some body analysis. My waist wasn't any bigger. My biceps didn't measure any bigger, but I filled in heart, liver, bones, tendons, because they were wasting.
So you must understand this as well, that again, we are wasting not only the muscles in our biceps, triceps, back, chest, legs, but also those amino acids are key to the keeping a healthy liver, tendon, heart, all these things that are still built and are part of muscle. The ligaments, the tendons, vital organs, all these things start to waste when we're not giving the body the proper nutrients that he is suggesting when it comes to the amino acids in order to keep these organs and the body at a state of preservation and not accelerated decay. He also mentioned, because many of you will have the issue as to wanting to put on or afraid that you're going to put on too much muscle. No, your number one priority, especially as we age, is to maintain the muscle. And as he spoke about, what he was able to do was he actually put on 10 pounds of lean muscle, but his body was no bigger. Meaning, again, he filled in all those things that are tied to a healthy, lean organism. The ligaments start building back, the wasting that had happened with his internal organs and things of that nature. All these things play a major role in not only how the body looks, but as to how our metabolism is operating as well. So again, muscle is the key, especially for us who are over 50 and 60 and moving on into our latter years. We want to maintain muscle. We want to build muscle. We want to keep this body lean. And the longer we can keep this body lean by doing the right type of exercises, by actually doing and feeding the body the necessary nutrients it needs to build the muscles, to build strong tendons, ligaments, joints, etc. This is the key to our success. Allow us to let him continue.
The same as everybody else. I was losing lean body mass and I didn't even know it. And back then, this is, 20 years ago, the awareness of body mass and DEXA scanning and all this stuff, nobody was really looking at any of this stuff.
Sure.
So my body didn't look any different, but I bet you I was getting toward osteopenia because I wasn't getting enough protein to keep the structure of my body.
So, and really getting enough amino acids to keep the
Well,
structure
that's the
of the
thing.
body,
The
right?
essential thing is the amino acids. It's not the protein. And so it does matter what protein you eat because the makeup of the protein, like the amino acid makeup of proteins makes a difference. And there's, depending on who you talk to, 8 or 9 essential amino acids that depending on how much of each of those is in the protein gives you the quality of the protein. And quality is how much of it can your body actually utilize to make its own protein.
So what would be?
So that is another key concept. Although we are eating things and taking in things that are considered proteins, etc., the real measure of how useful this or these things that we are consuming is the absorption and how much of it are we able to absorb and utilize. And this is what he's getting at. Just because we're eating a lot of protein doesn't mean that our body is necessarily breaking it down, assimilating the amino acids, and then reuptaking them in order to fill in what we are missing. And again, this is why those this particular full spectrum amino acid is good. Any full spectrum amino acid with the right ratio works. I prefer the perfect amino because I understand the science that they have done behind this particular one. But in general, a full spectrum amino acid, not just a branch chain amino acid. And again, amino acids are the building blocks of pretty much everything that is physical in our body, every component of our body. I'm almost certain amino acids are the foundational building blocks of those because amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, and proteins are the building blocks of our actual physical body. But they also play a major role on hormones, etc. So allow us to continue.
Some good protein sources, and by good I mean, how would you rank proteins? You probably rank amino acids very high, but in terms of ingesting protein, meat, eggs, poultry, plant sources, how would you?
Yes.
Watch what carrots do to your dog.
I invited the man I trust with my dogs, Dr. Marty Goldstein.
Here are
Allow
the
me
best
to
and worst
pass
food for
this
dogs. Number 1.
forward. Excuse me for that. Let's get back to it.
And there is a formula where you can measure how much. So amino acids differ from the other 2 macronutrients. So the macronutrients are carbohydrates and fats and proteins. Proteins, amino, have nitrogen.
Mm-hmm.
Carbohydrates and fats don't have nitrogen.
Okay.
If you take the amino off the protein, you have a carb. Okay. So all the fats and carbs are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen mixtures. Amino acids have nitrogen. Sometimes they have sulfur. So if you can measure, okay, get someone in neutral nitrogen balance, like they've had a really good diet for a month, and then feed them a mono protein source. Let's just start with whey proteins. Feed them whey protein for a month, and you collect urine every day, and you measure how many grams of nitrogen came in.
Mm-hmm.
So proteins are about 16% nitrogen.
Okay.
So if I ate 100 grams of whey protein, so fruits and vegetables have negligible proteins in them. So eat fruits and vegetables and just whey protein. And let's say you took 100, started playing.
All right, so he gets a little technical right here. I'll break it down real quick so that we can finish this video. The basic ideal is this, that a lot of the proteins that we are taking in, our body's only able to utilize a certain percentage of it because of the structure, because of the ratio of the amino acids, etc. Within the perfect amino, it's definitely said to be, and I haven't did the study myself, but it is said to be a 99% absorption rate. And I myself have noticed a difference in not only my beard, but also since I've been able to gradually start back actually working out, the putting on the muscle, the strengthening of the body, and the recovery of the body, as well as the recovery from this injury that has set me back for about 3 months. It's still a little tender, my lat shoulder area, but I was able today to actually work out light with that for the first time in about 4 months.